It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast. On this September the 3rd, 2025, coming to you from Forest, Virginia in my studio right outside of Lynchburg. Today's show is brought to you by Will U.S., the owner of Scoot Around, and by Chillie's Cruises. And thankfully, folks, we have no echo. So I ran several tests on the systems last night and again this morning. And I mean, right up to being on air. So I decided to go with the current setup with just one computer. So I don't have my second computer on. And it appears to be working fine. So I will probably on Friday try it again with the second computer. Anyway. We got quite a few news stories this morning, and none of them major, but enough to keep us busy for a while. The lead story today is Hawaii's Kilauea Volcano Erupts again. Got a port worker to die in Greece. Sunshine Evac delay to Bermuda. Feature story this morning, because at first I didn't think I was going to have stories, but a feature story today on what happens when a cruise ship passenger needs an emergency Evac or Medevac. Also today, an 8-year-old was injured in a shark attack. Cruise line is going to start charging for no-shows. Encore itinerary change. Carnival to return to Acapulco. And a stranded boater rescued. And AIDA opens a school in Cambodia. A lot of stories this morning, folks. That and more here at 11 o'clock this morning. All right, today is Welsh Rarebit Day. Some people think that Welsh Rarebit has to do with rabbit. Has nothing to do with rabbit. It's actually a cheesy toast. It was a tongue-in-cheek way in the Welsh language because there was no rabbit in the meal. Similar to mock turtle soup, which has no turtle. Welsh rarebit does not contain rabbit. It's just cheesy toast. It's good. I've had it. That's what it is. This day in history, Viking 2 lands on the Mars surface 6 weeks after its counterpart, Viking 1, made its landing. This, of course, leaves the door open for Hot Air Tom to travel to Mars on an upcoming rocket ship. If you're a podcast person, you can always access the podcast via my blog, accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the old fat guy. We do this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then if anything major happens, we can do shows any other day. It also changes some when I'm traveling. Haven't been traveling much this summer at all, actually, since I got home with Hot Air Tom after our months away. I do have a cruise scheduled in October, a shorty on Carnival. on the Conquest. Some of you might remember I was scheduled on the Conquest with Pittsburgh Jason when I broke my big toe. Remember the broken big toe I had from the lady that rammed my chair into the bulkhead? And I couldn't walk. I had to cancel the cruise out because of this stupid toe. Well, I'm actually going to get a chance to get back on Conquest. But one of the things I want to talk to you guys about this morning is the February Grandiosa cruise, or cruises, however you want to look at it. Also, I need to know, because I know some of you don't necessarily book with me, which that's fine. But I need to know if you are booked on either of these cruises. Let me know, because I'm trying to get everything, together so that we can eat together in the dining room. So anyway, I need you to let me know if you are booked on that. Of course, I know that, Kenneth and I and Hot Air Tom and Cindy and Gary Older Than Dirt. I know that Roger is a maybe. Let's see, is there anybody else? I don't think. Let me take a quick look at this. Grandiosa, Julie King, Gary. Cindy is no. Tom and Cindy. Okay. If anybody else is going on that cruise, please let me know so we can get everybody together. Now, there's still time for you to book it, folks, and I'll be more than happy to take care of it if you want to call me. And there's actually three things to consider. Number one is February the 7th, which is the Western. Goes to Nassau, Falmouth. Actually goes to, I don't remember the order. I believe it goes to Falmouth, Cayman Islands, Cozumel, then Nassau, and back to Port Canaveral. And then it leaves out of there on the 14th and does the Eastern Caribbean, which goes to the private island, Nassau, and Puerto Plata and Dominican Republic. Or you've got the 14-day, which Kenneth and Tom and Cindy and me and Gary are doing the 14-day, the back-to-back. Roger, if he ends up going, is doing the Eastern that sails on the 14th. So anybody else, man, just call me. I'll be happy to hook you right up with it. And we're trying to get it so we can have a big table at dinner at least. Some of us will be doing some specialty restaurants, but we'll have an anchor. We'll have a place to meet. So, all right. So the other thing we got to do before we actually get to the news today, we got to take a quick look at the weather. In the Atlantic, you got a system coming across the trough. A tropical wave located over the eastern tropical Atlantic, a few 100 miles west-southwest of Cabo Verde Islands, continues to produce disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Environmental conditions remain conducive for gradual development of the system during the next several days. Tropical depression is likely to form late this week or this weekend. The system is expected to move westward to west-northwestward at around 15 miles an hour across the eastern and central tropical Atlantic into early next week. Formation chance over the next 48 hours is 30%, but it jumps up to 70% over the next 7 days. So that would be in the eastern in the Atlantic. Now here's the one that's a little more shocking. Where'd it go? did I just X out of that? What the heck am I doing here? I did. Okay, I gotta pull it up. You gotta give me a second here, folks. What am I doing? I'm all befuddled now, and things were going so well. Okay, so that's the cruise overlay. Uh, uh, okay, we'll make it work from the overlay, I think. All right, so that's loaded up. Now, here's in the Pacific. We got 2 hurricanes going out there, folks. 2 complete hurricanes. Lorena is right off the coast of Cabo. It's supposed to keep sliding right up off the coast till maybe tomorrow night and come inland then. So needless to say, all the shipping lanes and Baja California are just getting smacked. It's not a major hurricane. It's just a Category 1, but still, yeah, it's a hurricane. Then Kiko, which is the one out in the ocean, is several hundred miles from Hawaii. It's a Category 2, 105 miles an hour. No telling if it's going to actually get to Hawaii or not. That's a little early to tell. But we got 2 hurricanes going on in the Pacific. So obviously, that's something that we have to watch. So, and sorry that I X'd out of this stupid story there. That was great, wasn't it? All right. I'll be back with the news portion of today's show after a quick break from one of our fine network sponsors. All right, guys, we're going to start off today out in Hawaii.
Hawaii's Kilauea volcano dramatically resumed erupting on Tuesday, August 19, sending lava fountains as high as 330 feet above its summit crater. This marks the 32nd eruption event since December, when the volcano's current eruption phase began, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. So far, all activity has remained safely contained inside Halemaumau crater within Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, posing no immediate threat to surrounding communities. Lava first appeared shortly after midnight from a north vent inside the crater. By 6:35 a.m. local time, fountains of molten rock were shooting skyward. By mid-morning, the eruption expanded as lava also began emerging from the south vent and a third central vent, creating a fiery spectacle visible across the park. USGS scientists continue to monitor the activity closely, but officials confirm no evacuations are necessary at this time. Kilauea, located on Hawaii Island, is among the most active volcanoes on Earth. The volcano sits about 200 miles south of Honolulu on Oahu, and its frequent eruptions are a defining feature of the island's landscape. While Tuesday's activity has been contained to the summit, past eruptions have sent lava flows toward nearby neighborhoods, making continuous monitoring essential. Visitors to Hawaii Volcanoes National Park are advised to follow safety guidelines, as eruptions, while mesmerizing, can bring volcanic gases and ash. A tragic incident unfolded at the port of Piraeus, the cruise gateway to Athens, when a dock worker collapsed while loading and unloading passenger luggage. The worker, identified as 62-year-old Pantelis Georgiou, received immediate CPR and first aid from ambulance personnel before being rushed to a nearby hospital. Despite resuscitation efforts, he was later pronounced dead. Dock workers like Georgiou manage thousands of pounds of luggage daily, a task often invisible to cruise passengers who take for granted the smooth transfer of their bags. The late summer heat in Athens, typically reaching 90 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, may have been a contributing factor. It remains unclear which cruise ship's luggage Georgiou was handling at the time. On the day in question, 3 ships were present at the port: Celestial Discovery embarking, Voyager of the Seas embarking, Viking Vesta making a port call. Authorities have not yet released further details. Georgiou was employed by a private company contracted to work the port.
And of course, our thoughts do go out to Mr. Georgiou's family, friends, and the folks on the ship he was on for their loss.
Passengers aboard Carnival Sunshine faced an unexpected delay after a fellow guest required an urgent medical evacuation by the U.S. Coast Guard. The vessel departed Norfolk on August 31st for a 6-night Bermuda cruise. It had originally been scheduled to arrive at Bermuda's King's Wharf on September 2nd, but is now expected to dock on September 3rd, according to multiple passenger accounts. One guest shared, due to a passenger needing emergency medical treatment, they were evacuated via USCG Hilo while the ship was underway leaving Norfolk. The cruise will now dock on Wednesday. The dramatic rescue occurred in the early hours of September 1st off the Virginia coast, when a Coast Guard helicopter hoisted the passenger from the ship's deck. Videos of the Medevac quickly surfaced on social media. Cruise tracking data show Carnival Sunshine circling near the Outer Banks of North Carolina during the operation. Though the evacuation reportedly took less than an hour, the disruption forced the ship to adjust its itinerary. On Tuesday afternoon, the ship was approximately 157 miles from Bermuda and pushing to make port as quickly as possible. If it arrives later today, September 2nd, guests may still enjoy part of an overnight stay on the island. Carnival Sunshine, carrying up to 3,002 guests, is scheduled to depart Bermuda at 4 p.m. local time on September 3rd and return to Norfolk on September 6th. An injured individual was medically evacuated from the cruise ship AIDA in the Baltic Sea yesterday, following an onboard accident. The Latvian Navy Coast Guard carried out the operation, though it has not been confirmed whether the injured person was a passenger or a crew member. When a medical emergency unfolds on land, first responders can often arrive in minutes. But for cruise ships, sometimes hundreds of miles from shore, the response looks very different, and much more dramatic. That was the case aboard Carnival Sunshine, when a passenger needed urgent treatment and was evacuated by a U.S. Coast Guard helicopter off the coast of Virginia. The rescue delayed the ship's Bermuda itinerary by a full day, but for the patient, it may have made the difference between life and death. Every cruise ship carries a medical team, including doctors and nurses, trained to stabilize patients. Shipboard medical centers are equipped to handle many situations, from broken bones to cardiac events. But when the medical staff determines that a passenger requires care beyond what's available on board, such as specialized surgery or intensive care, the captain contacts the nearest Maritime Rescue Coordination Center. In U.S. waters, that's usually the U.S. Coast Guard, which decides whether the patient can wait until the next port or requires an immediate evacuation. Ship's medical staff alerts the captain, who calls the Coast Guard. Coast Guard evaluates the case and dispatches a rescue team, often a helicopter with a trained flight medic. Crew clears a safe landing zone or hoisting area, often on the ship's open deck. Guests are usually asked to stay indoors. The helicopter hovers above the moving vessel, lowering a rescue basket or harness. The patient, sometimes with a medical escort, is hoisted up. The patient is flown to the nearest facility equipped for advanced care. The entire operation can take less than an hour once the helicopter arrives, but coordinating at sea is logistically complex and often diverts the ship from its planned course. Although medevacs are swift, they can force ships to alter itineraries. In Carnival Sunshine's case, circling during the rescue cost enough time that the ship's arrival in Bermuda had to be pushed back a full day. Cruise lines typically prioritize passenger safety over schedules, but they do try to minimize the impact on other travelers. When possible, the ship may increase speed to make up lost time or adjust port calls. How common are cruise ship medevac rescues? According to the U.S. Coast Guard, hundreds of maritime medical evacuations occur each year, and cruise ships account for a significant portion. While still relatively rare compared to the millions of passengers sailing annually, medevacs are a reminder that emergencies can happen anywhere, even in the middle of the ocean. For guests, seeing a Coast Guard helicopter hover above their ship is a once-in-a-lifetime spectacle, though most would prefer it under different circumstances. For the passenger being lifted away, however, it's often a lifeline. As the Carnival Sunshine incident shows, every rescue involves not just advanced training and technology, but also a commitment by cruise lines and the Coast Guard to put human lives first, even if it means changing course.
Are you planning on a trip to the land of the rising sun in the near future? Scoot Around, powered by Will, is excited to announce that we now have mobility scooters and electric wheelchairs available for rent in select locations across Japan, including major tourist destinations like Tokyo. You can book online today or call Scoot Around at 888-441-7575. Use SRN 11137 or call me at 434-258-9264 for a mobility scooter or power wheelchair in Japan.
An 8-year-old boy suffered serious injuries when he was attacked by a shark off the coast of Key Largo, Florida on Monday. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office revealed in a press release that the boy was snorkeling when he was bitten by a shark at approximately 3:24 p.m. Emergency personnel airlifted the child to Jackson Memorial Hospital in Miami. The U.S. Coast Guard and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission were notified of the incident. The boy's identity has not been released, but multiple reports indicate he was severely injured. Due to some guests reserving specialty dining times and not showing up, Royal Caribbean is going to start charging a fee for all no-shows. The cruise line said that this change will help preserve seats for those who are eager to dine at a specialty restaurant. Norwegian Encore's upcoming 7-night Caribbean voyage, which embarks in Miami on November 8, has had its final port call of the sailing replaced. Instead of calling on Cozumel, on November 13, Encore will visit Great Stirrup Cay in the Bahamas on November 14. The itinerary change was made due to updated port availability at the Cozumel cruise port. Carnival Cruise Line is returning to the Mexican port of Acapulco in early 2027 following a more than 15-year hiatus. The visit marks a significant milestone, connecting its guests with one of Mexico's most famous coastal cities. After last visiting the destination in 2010, Carnival said that Acapulco is known for its dramatic cliffs, golden beaches and vibrant culture. The Carnival Firenze will be the first ship to visit the port as part of a repositioning voyage to Miami via South America. Firenze will visit the Mexican port on January 8, 2027. The cruise ship Genting Dream rescued a lone boater in the Strait of Malacca. The rescue occurred during the ship's voyage from Singapore to Phuket. Crew members spotted a small boat in distress and saw its occupant signaling for help. They immediately launched a successful rescue operation. AIDA Cruises announced the opening of a new school building in Cambodia through its AIDA Cruise and Help initiative, funded by donations from guests and crew aboard AIDA Stella. The new facility provides 860 children in SR Noi with improved learning conditions, featuring 4 furnished classrooms and modern sanitary facilities. Deal of the day: 13-night transatlantic cruise on the Carnival Glory from Barcelona to Port Canaveral, sailing April 11, 2026, with stops in Alicante, Malaga, Gibraltar and Celebration Key. Prices start at $474 per person, double occupancy. Call Chillie 434-258-9264 for more information and to book.
All right, that's going to put an end to the news portion of today's show. Let's go over and see who's in the chat room fussing at me. I mentioned that Joanne and Gary and Hot Air Tom were with us. Tom says, Gary, older than dirt. I was working with Chillie to get our MSC dining set so we can all dine together. Chillie will need your booking number. I got it, Tom. I got Gary's and cabin number, hoping it works so all 5 of us, 2, 4, 5, maybe 6, will dine together. Yes, that would be great, Gary says. Kenneth's with us, says good morning to everybody. There's Gretchen out in Ohio. Bob's with us. Good morning, gang. Rainy day. A lot of stories. Nestor needs a raise. Yes, he does. I have to teach Nestor how to say AIDA. So I gotta work with him. I just realized that one slipped past me because normally I correct that. Katie's with us. Good morning, Katie. How's Miss Katie today? There's Steve out in Kentucky. Hey, Steve says good morning to everybody. Todd's with us. Hi, Todd. I'm waiting for Scotty to beam me up to the inner. Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to get on the rocket there and take it. You're not gonna just get beamed up there, hot air Tom. You got to do it the old-fashioned way. Crawl up to the top of that damn thing and sneak on. That's how you got to do it. Mike's with us on the other side of the pond. Good morning, Mike. There's Roger in Jacksonville. Still a maybe. Nikki's bestie from law school is wavering. Okay. Well, that's all right. Hot Air says my Cindy would like Katie to book the MSC cruise. 7 days would be okay. Yeah, well, that would be fun. I wish MSC would do a last minute port change and add Ocean Key to the Western 7-day. I was a little surprised that both of them didn't go. And it might be that there are too many ships scheduled. I don't know. You'd think this far in advance they'd work that out. Seems your computer has resolved its issues of slowness. Well, at least I'm having a good day today, but that's just with one computer on. So maybe that's the secret. I don't know. Katie says, hot air Tom, I would love to go, but working. Don't sweat the small stuff, Katie. Just tell them you got to be gone. You got to celebrate, what's that? Valentine's Day. Yeah, you have to have a week off for Valentine's Day because you got a crush on a captain. They'll believe it. I'm sure they'll believe it. 2 demerits for Nestor for that AIDA diva pronunciation. Yeah, I agree. I have to work on that. Sunshine is now docked in Bermuda along with the Aqua. Yeah, she got there a little late, but not as late as they thought. But it was a bit of a mess. And I was surprised that they dropped that far south, off the coast of Nag's Head to do the Evac. I guess it's not that far south, but still, it's somewhat out of the way. But I mean, I don't know the wherewithals of all of that. But anyway, I just thought it would be interesting to look at what happens. Todd says, that was a very interesting Coast Guard story. I've always wondered who pays for the Coast Guard to come get the patient. Well, there's a mixture on that one as well. Insurance pays for part of it. The cruise line pays for part of it. The passenger might pay for part of it. It depends on the setup. Now, those people that have the best insurance, it's covered. But yeah, it gets paid for. So the Coast Guard doesn't do it out of their pocket. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Tomorrow, I get to go get the permanent. It's over here. Yeah, I get to go get the permanent. What do you call that damn thing? I got a fake tooth in there now. A crown. I got to go get the permanent crown put on tomorrow morning. So I have to be there at 8 o'clock, which means I have to start loading the the wheelchair at 7. Ugh. So anyway, it shouldn't take that long, maybe an hour. So I'm going to get the permanent put on, and then I'll be back home. All right, guys. Thanks for being with me today. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. I always appreciate that. That helps the channel out quite a bit. And also, guys, as always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising, like on the Grandiosa. And if any of you want to jump in on the Grandiosa in February 7th or 14th or both, just let me know. Okay? That's a commercial message. Call me, text me, send smoke signals. Any way possible, I'll get a hold of you. All right, guys. That's it for today. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising. Hopefully, we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a great day, everybody, even when I repeat things. All right. I'll see you Friday if I don't see you tomorrow. Thanks, guys.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.